There are games that have a semi-permanent place in my memory, even despite me not playing them for months or even years. They are not necessarily the best games I've played, and they are very much not the worst. But here's what they are, and why I think I still think about them after all this time. I'm Simon from Games Deconstructed, and these are 4 indie games that stayed with me. Save Koch is a one-of-a-kind game. And by that I don't just mean a very good game, I mean that it's so weird, both narratively and mechanically, that attempting to define it by comparison to other media is bound to fail miserably. Narratively, it's the story of one Jeffrey Koch. A godfather of an established crime family, Koch finds himself relocated to a safe house as an imminent assassination attempt looms over him. He is also an anthropomorphic pig, because all the characters are anthropomorphic animals actually. The setting could be described as near-future early cyberpunk Animal Farm spin-off. Koch has 7 days to foil the assassination attempt, but to do that, he'll have to find and neutralize the mastermind that's behind it, as well as find the mole within his own organization. Although Koch is confined to the bunker, he is not entirely powerless. He can make phone calls to other characters and he can direct his operatives to various events that appear on his computer's map. And these actions culminate in a last-ditch attempt to gather enough clues to identify the mole, expose the mastermind, and ultimately survive. But while you attempt these seemingly deliberate, logical, tactical actions, the timer separating you from impending death is always ticking. Yes, even mid-dialogue and in menus, the game is always in real time, though it does take considerably less time to beat than 7 days, of course. But this injection of urgency into what might otherwise seem like a leisurely game of clicking notes on the map, making phone calls, having conversations, that injection of urgency is just truly impressive. The identity of the mastermind, the mole, and the details of their plan, and some of the events that follow it, of course, are randomized in each playthrough. However, every combination and permutation that I've encountered felt like a handcrafted narrative of escalating danger and ruthless politics. The events that you'll see in a playthrough will dovetail nicely into the randomly generated NPC seed, so one mastermind may attempt to go after you and your family directly with assassins, for example, while another may try to turn the tide of public opinion against you. A third one may go against your power base and business endeavor, and all the following events will sort of stem from that initial choice. And that leads me into the real genius of Save Koch. Everything in the game seems diegetic. Everything seems to be part of the game world and narrative. You can assume, of course, that there are some underlying mechanics, because of course it's a game. So say the random generation of NPC seeds or the success chances in missions have to be governed by some variables, but the game never shows you these puppeteer strings. It never allows you to assume that you fully understand its systems. Are you supposed to be looking for the mole based on their dialogue? Or their average performance during missions? Yes. The answer to that question is yes. Is a mission failure a result of random chance, sabotage, or perhaps your own mistake in sending Clip-Clop to do the talking? You'll never truly know. The game offers no hints, no affordances for you to exploit its mechanics. Instead, you experience the game as Koch does, perceiving only what he perceives in the limited time he has left. Nothing more and nothing less. That full immersion, all diegetics dive into the weird world of Save Koch makes for a life-changing couple of playthroughs before you start seeing the outline of what's happening behind the scenes. I can wholeheartedly recommend it. I'm probably going to re-download the game to show my partner right now, actually. I come back to Battle Brothers at least once a year. Either when they release new content, or when the always present urge to start a new run culminates and causes me to re-download the game. Battle Brothers has you lead a band of mercenaries in a low fantasy, vaguely late medieval world. You'll lead them from city to city, in real time with pause, on the world map, picking up missions, buying provisions and equipment, recruiting new units, and finding places of interest. But you'll also lead them in turn-based hex battles that offer a meaty, intellectually stimulating tactical experience. An experience you'll see them gain in proper RPG fashion, but you'll also see them die whenever you misstep or just receive an unlucky hit. And that lethal nature of Battle Brothers combat reminds me kind of Pokemon nuzlocke to some extent. Death is final and emotional, but it also may be a serious blow to the effectiveness of your lineup. It may require you to rebuild and switch positions, character roles and equipment around to fill the void left by the newly deceased unit. Yet, despite the setbacks and the fluctuating power dynamics of your team, the game beautifully distills the essence of the iconic RPG Zero to Hero progression. You start with a couple of guys dressed in rags armed with nothing but knives, and then progress from killing bandit thugs to killing raiders. You will gain levels and equipment and end up with a 12-month strong, well-oiled unit in full plate armor that can take on the local equivalent of a troll head-on. I love character progression systems. And so, seeing my brothers grow and improve like this speaks to me deeply. At the same time, the very real possibility of losing these powerful units that I've seen grow adds an extra layer of excitement and tension to each encounter. Furthermore, Battle Brothers enhances that sense of attachment to your mercenaries through the inclusion of some emergent narrative elements. Random events, generated based on the unique traits of your brothers, provide additional depth and personalization. For example, a noble member of your team may participate in tournaments, while an escaped slave could face the challenge of evading relentless bounty hunters. These personal narrative circumstances not only serve to differentiate the brothers in terms of combat capabilities, because for example a militia member may start at a higher level or be more proficient with certain types of equipment, but they also offer glimpses into their personal stories, further enriching that immersive experience of leading a mercenary band. With its rich and strategic combat, its exhilarating flow of character growth, and the compelling emergent narrative, Battle Brothers possesses an irresistible allure, perpetually enticing me to embark on yet another thrilling adventure. It's an ever-present siren song in my life that always beckons me to spend another all-nighter attempting to evade death, dismemberment, and decapitation. I don't like visual novels, or at least I nominally don't. I enjoyed my Danganronpas and my Ace Attorneys on the strength of their writing, but I've always felt that I've enjoyed them despite their game structures. I struggled with the linearity of their storylines and the minimal gameplay elements that occasionally seemed more like speed bumps than actual challenges for me, the player. But I Was a Teenage Exocolonist provides a very different experience that's perfect for people like me who nominally don't like visual novels. It's designed to be replayed, with a storyline that's branching and seems reactive to player input, which is rare, but a welcome treat nonetheless when it comes to this style of narrative. All visual novels stand or die on their writing, and Exo is no exception. Its story of growing up amidst the colonization effort on a hostile world strikes a good balance between cute and serious. With the colorful art style and cozy childhood focus, serving as an effective juxtaposition for the occasional emotional punch to the kidneys that the game likes to administer. And while the game deals with some pretty heavy stuff, like loss, grief, and even totalitarianism, it does so with grace, with the happy and the sad working in tandem rather than clashing. Grounding this bittersweet narrative is a realistic, or at least verisimilitudinal, representation of interplanetary colonization that shies away from the usual power fantasies that come with it. It depicts conflicts, complications, and challenges both in the interpersonal sphere as well as in terms of logistics, agriculture, zoology, even meteorology. Subsequent playthroughs will allow you to see storylines, paths, etc. that were unavailable due to your interactions with the game's skill system, for example, or not prioritized in your previous playthroughs just by the virtue of you choosing to do different stuff. The game cleverly addresses the possible frustrating disconnect between player knowledge and character awareness by enabling you to bypass certain challenges based on your accumulated knowledge from previous playthroughs. It also has a satisfying conflict resolution minigame where you assemble sets out of cards that you earn during the visual novel sections of gameplay. These cards are neatly packaged thematically as memories that your character gains during their formative moments of life, which taps into that growing up theme that's present in the game. And those memories represented as cards guide your character in the upcoming challenge. And that minigame adds a sense of stakes to narratively significant moments, like when you're fighting for your life, you feel that the outcome is somewhat based on your performance in the minigame and not just the decisions that you've made, which is nice, at least for me. And the minigame also serves to break up the potential monotony of the read text, make a decision, read more text gameplay loop that's so common in visual novels. Additionally, you can preview the card reward for any particular decision before you make the decision, adding a mechanical component to decision-making beyond just the story-based reasons to choose one option over the others. The soundtrack also slaps. I am very easily impressed by good music and sound design in games, so I couldn't not like it. In summation, I Was a Teenage Exocolonist addresses the weaknesses that irk me in both its genre and the associated story structure, bringing them to a non-aggressive, good enough place that allows you to focus on where the game really shines, its art and sound design and its roller coaster storyline. And that very storyline, combined with the lingering notes of the game's soundtrack, have become a permanent fixture in my memory for the past few months. I can't help but wonder if I'll receive a memory card for taking part in this unforgettable journey. Spellcaster University is a light builder game, where you're tasked with building a magical university and educating the maximum number of students to the highest possible level before the Dark Lord catches up to you, requiring you to move house and start from scratch. The game incorporates some light optimization elements, such as adjacency and floor-wide bonuses for some rooms, the entryways being present in particular sides of the room, allowing the characters to move more easily or less easily depending on how you place them, but it never feels like it penalizes players for making suboptimal decisions. It just makes it satisfying but not essential to utilize these bonuses. But the game, in its entirety, is a dopamine-fueled engine. Students will learn faster with every passing minute of a scenario. This will result in your mana pools filling more often, and new buildings will come up quicker as a result, allowing your students to learn even faster, and this will create a delightful feedback loop. The rewards you get, mostly the building cards, are thematic, creative, and seeing new ones is always an absolute blast. Like, you get to choose between options like a painful bed, a complimentary set of angel wings for your most pious students, or say a floor cleaning snail. You're always looking forward, or at least I am, to new cards, new 3-card selections, and a new serving of pure, unrestrained school building fun. However, the true brilliance of Spellcaster University lies in its alumni system. When a group of your students complete their education, which will happen regularly during each scenario, their skill levels will be translated into percentage chances of finding particular types of employment, and these available careers range from farmer to archmage. So each offers unique small bonuses, either in the short term or for all future students and schools, even in subsequent scenarios. That means that as you accumulate a significant number of, say, Archdruid alumni, your nature mana will grow exponentially faster in each following scenario. And I love small persistent bonuses, so this progression system spoke to me on a personal level. Considering that a student meeting the requirements still has to pass a percentage roll, and you only get a couple of rerolls every school year, this presents a gacha-like design paradigm, with all the fun but none of the spending required. In each scenario, you'll also get a quest to achieve X alumni of a particular career type, which in most cases you'll only be able to complete at the very end of the scenario, and this may result in completing the last 20 or so career roles in a state of absolute clench, or perhaps even chanting "Warlock, Warlock," as your best students decide to spend the remainder of their lives as, say, farmers, despite your best efforts. I still think about Spellcaster University because it's a masterpiece in terms of setting scope. It sets out to do very particular things, allow you to build a magic school and train magic students, and then it goes all in on maximizing the fun that it provides within these limitations. Its only slight misstep, its only extraneous mechanic is the dungeon system, but you can safely forget about the dungeon system if you don't enjoy it. It's also a non-JK Rowling related magic school property, and these are always welcome nowadays. And those were 4 indie games that stayed with me. I would love to get to know in the comments what games have a permanent place in your memories, even though you might have not played them in some time. And hey, if you like the cut of my jib, I always appreciate if you click one of the YouTube clickables, and you should see another video featuring me on your screen right now. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.